Hi and welcome to ZeeZee Talks. My name is ZeeZee. So today we'll be talking about sex, but not in general terms or not in the way that we normally would. We'll be talking about the three things that sex is not meant to be. Now, sex is important. We all know that. It's important in marriage. So stay tuned and let's see what I have to say today. Welcome back, and I am ZeeZee. Today, what I decided to talk about was something again that I have noticed is very prevalent in marriages today. You know, couples use sex for different reasons, and I keep telling them, hey, no, not a good reason to do it that way, or not a good reason to do it that way. That's not what sex is for. So I find myself saying that a lot, and I decided, you know what, today I'd like to talk about what sex is not for. We already know what sex is for. It's for our mutual pleasure, enjoyment. It's for different things like, just, getting to connect with your spouse. Of course, it's for procreation, but it's not only for procreation. So sex is for, just for our enjoyment, and that's the way God intended it to be. And I'd like to say that it's also so much better in the confines of marriage for so many reasons. I say it that way because I'd just like people to know that there's just so much disaster that comes from it any other way, especially when people are not really sure, who the guy is, who the girl is, if they really want to be there, and people take you for granted when, they already seen that part, just for different reasons. I'm not judging anyone, so please do not come down my throat saying, wow, what are you talking about? I just said, based on my experience, I just think it's even more enjoyable in the confines of marriage. So of course, I would like to say that sex is also, meant to be with one partner, not more than one, because the connection that was intended for sex, that deep, intense connection, you can only build that with one person. If you keep spreading yourself thin, you're just going to be everywhere and not anywhere, if you know what I mean. You're just not going to be connected to anyone because everyone has a piece of you, and that's just not okay. One person, that's what was intended. So let's talk about what sex is not meant for. So number one, I think that in marriages today, a lot of people use sex as a tool for manipulation. Not a good idea. Okay, I am not pointing fingers, but the women kind of do that more. But of course, I have seen men who use sex as a tool, especially when the women has a higher libido than they do, so they use it as a tool for manipulation, the men. But mostly it's women who say, let's see if you get some tonight. I see how you're messing up, right? See if you get some of that. That's not the point. I mean, when your husband likes sex and you're having issues, the way you're supposed to kind of bring his attention to the issue is not by manipulating him and say, don't touch me. I'm not going to sleep with you today. Don't you know what you did? That's not a way. If you have built a relationship with your spouse where they are your number one, where they're your source, where the both of you are tight friends, the way you're meant to be. I mean, of course you're in a relationship, they will piss you off. I mean, you're going to get upset by them. But again, when that happens, this is not a time to hold back sex. This is not a time to say, let's see how you're going to function. You're not getting none tonight. It doesn't help anything. The focus for anyone who is using sex as a tool to manipulate their spouse, the focus should be, we have a problem. Let's talk about the problem and fix it, right? We're not meant to use sex as a tool to say, hey, you messed with me, now I'm going to mess with you. It's revenge. Like, do you not know that you're not supposed to revenge? Like, really, what exactly, how happy are you when you revenge? You're seeing the person you're supposed to love with all your heart, the person you took vows to protect, to love, to cherish. You're seeing them suffer and you're happy. Now, what I'm not saying that because again, as women, especially as women, our internals are very connected with our emotional state. So of course, if your husband has done something that has hurt your feelings, you're probably not going to, be rushing to have sex with him because you'll be deeply disturbed. So what I say in those cases where you do not feel like having sex with your spouse because you feel like they've hurt your feelings and you need things sorted out, the first thing I say is don't manipulate them. Right? Talk about it instead. I'm not asking you to rush to have sex with them. I'm asking you to open up dialogue and do it with a clean and honest heart. Do it with the vulnerability that you're that shows that you're really trying to get this thing handled and sorted, you're not supposed to just keep sex from them. That's manipulation and it's not right. So that leads me to my second point. Sex is not a tool to fix a fight. So now you've had a fight and none of you have talked about what the situation is. So you go to bed and you jump on each other's bones and you start going at it. And then guess what? You don't handle the situation that has caused you to fight. You go another week, you're fine, and then something happens. But because you never resolved or came to some sort of agreement as to whatever that situation was, it piles up. So a lot of people use sex as a way to ignore handling discussions that they should have about the issues they have and just go for it and, say, hey, it'll solve our fight. No, sex does not fix a fight. Honey, trust me, it will keep piling up and one day you'll be well sexed, but guess what? You'll have so many issues waiting for you to handle. So the best thing for you to do when you do have a fight is, again, dialogue. We've had this issue. How are we going to sort it out? What are you going to do? What am I going to do to fix it so it doesn't happen again? And then you go from there. But of course, after you have resolved all of that, it even makes sex more intense. Ever wondered why when you have makeup sex is so intense? That's just because it's a reminder that the both of you are meant to be connected. And as you start to join your bodies together, it's so intense because it's saying, I know we've had a problem. I know that I've hurt you. I'm so sorry. When you're having sex, all that happens is you're just, going into each other and starting to understand that, hey, this one person is my person. This is the person I'm supposed to live with, to love, to cherish. And so it's intense. But the thing is, you've handled whatever the issue is before you had sex. You're not, using sex as a cover-up. So do not use sex as a cover-up. That's not what it's meant to be. You're supposed to use it after you fixed whatever you're fighting about. Get it? Good. And number 3, sex is not for procreation only. Sorry. So everybody out there who says, oh, it's time for me to have my second child, I'll go and meet with my husband or I'll go and meet with my wife so we can have sex. Are you for real? That's not all sex is for. I actually do know couples who only come together when they're trying to have a baby. Now that puts so much pressure on you guys. However, if you have good communication, you guys are friends and you're building a relationship, every time you come together to have sex, you're enjoying it, you're about to pleasure your spouse, they're about to pleasure you. It just opens up the floodgates. You're not just supposed to rush to each other every time. Oh, I'm ovulating, let's have sex. Or, hey, let's have sex. No, it's just, no, it's not just for that. I know that's part of it, of course, but I'm just saying if you are more open-minded and every time you have sex, you see that as a way to connect with your spouse, it'll make it even more better. So there are many other reasons why you shouldn't be using sex as a tool for XYZ. I mean, one of them is boredom. I know a lot of people who say, hey, we don't have anything to talk about, let's have sex. Really? How are you supposed to build a relationship with someone if you're not talking to them? Read a book instead. Don't just jump in each other's bones because you're bored. I mean, yeah, I know sometimes you're just sitting at home and it's like, hey, let's have sex. But hey, that's like a mutual thing. Don't just be like, I have nothing else to talk about, let's have sex. No, talk instead. Now, when I talk about healthy relationships, the one thing that comes up all the time, I'm sure you guys are so tired of hearing me talk about it, is a thriving relationship happens to have healthy communication, period. So people use sex as a way to not talk about stuff, to not be vulnerable with their spouse, and just, cover up issues. No, sex is used for pleasure, and it's supposed to be that way. It's not used to cover up things. It's not supposed to be, hey, take that and shut up. I don't really want to talk. I just want to have sex. Because guess what happens? Eventually, you're going to get bored with that sex. You're going to have nothing to talk about because you guys never built a relationship. And then everything's going to be out the window. So my suggestion is whenever you're thinking sex with your spouse, think about it as a time for bonding, for connecting with them, for showing them how much you're so appreciative that they're the one person you love and the one person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Don't use it as a tool to manipulate them or to cover up things or to avoid a fight or to fix a fight or to run away from a fight. Just don't do that. Just bear up under whatever pressure it is you're facing with your spouse. Talk about it, get that out of the way so you could really enjoy each other. that's what I have to say about sex and what it's not for. If you think of anything else, be free to share, because I want to know. But I'm saying this because I would like for you guys to institute it in your relationships, because if not, then you're going to be finding that your relationship doesn't actually like feel deep, if I could put it that way. You know, you need a deep relationship is made up of two very good friends that are for each other, have each other's backs, and they have sex for the right reasons. And when they're not having sex, it's also for the right reasons, because someone is not feeling well, or both of them are not in the mood. It's possible, and they just want to cuddle and just want to talk. You know, these are the things that build relationships. So stop using sex to do all these other funny stuff. Not gonna help. So there you have it. These are my thoughts on what sex is not for. I'm ZeeZee, and I thank you for tuning in again. Hey, like I always say, I invested in keeping your relationship together. That's why I'm here. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment at the bottom of this video. If something I said actually hit a spot, please like the video as well. I would really appreciate it if you share with your friends and loved ones. And hey, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. And hey, just follow me to see what's happening in the relationship world. I'll be talking about relationships forever. I know I will. So hey, might as well get in on it really early. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being a blessing. You are surely a blessing to me. Have a glorious day.